some new things. He jumped the training level fence, fantastic. And just, you know, the galloping, I started to feel more comfortable and I opened him up. I still could have opened him up more, but I was happy that we didn't play out, that I could feel comfortable doing that. So that was really good. So the show jumping efforts, because it was a little bit, you know, not as finessed, I guess the word would be, as I would like. He mostly got 3.5s or 3s. The cross country efforts, he got mostly 3s and 4s. And I mean, that was all really good. So the rideability, the judges said fairly good confidence and learning ability, improved through the ride. They're looking at confidence, response to aids, attitude, learning and ability. So out of a 1 through 10, he got a 7.2, and then you times it by 0.5. Then in between fences, you know, maintaining a rhythm they're looking for, appropriate pace, desire to go forward, ability to adjust balance before a fence, and jumping out of stride. So a willing horse, tight through top line at times, which affected adjustability. This is partly, you know, the listening part I was talking about. He got a 7.3. And then the open gallop, so they're looking for the desire to go forward, ground cover, balance, and ease and efficiency of gallop. And they said gaining ground but could push more, which is not his fault at all. That was completely me. And he got a 7.3 at that. And general impression is kind of hard to read this, but what I can make out is they said nice expression and a couple other really nice comments. So, looking at kind of the gaits that they look at for the trot, they're looking for rhythm. You know, a lot of what they're looking at in the show: rhythm, suppleness, elasticity, impulsion, swinging back, cut back, ground cover. They said good rhythm and supple in the trot. For the walk, they're looking for rhythm, relaxation, activity, and ground cover. So they said good ground cover, but he needed to be more in front of the leg, which is good feedback for me. I'm always looking to be forward, but I can always be more forward, like everyone. Always add more leg, guys. For the canter, rhythm, suppleness, elasticity, impulsion, natural balance, ground cover, and uphill tendency. Supple, good balance. His canter is great. If you're looking to buy a horse, guys, look for the walk and canter, because you can always adjust the trot, make the trot, you know, can make large improvements to the trot. The walk and canter is a lot harder to do that, and his canter is very, very nice. It's his best quality. He's got naturally you see him stumbling a lot in the trot and the walk. You see me on a long rein because I need him to learn to pick up his feet to manage his own body. He never stumbles in the canter, though. He's very balanced, very nice 4-year-old to ride in the canter. Rideability, suppleness, contact, straightness, and obedience. They said mouth occasionally open, more often deep but obedient and pleasant. So I think the mouth open is something to be working on. We're working on a little bit with bits and trying to see if he needs a noseband, if he doesn't. And, you know, there's a little bit of resistance in there. So that's just something we're working through. I think you know, the score sheet, the packet you get back is a ton of great feedback. And I'm hoping, you know, even though this vlog might be a little bit longer, that you guys have learned a little bit what the Young Event Horse series is like, because going into it, I had no idea, and I looked up videos, but no one would talk about it, and it was more like, you know, videos of, you know, the format, but not actually the feedback. So hopefully you guys enjoyed that part. Anyway, going out, he got a 72.55, I think, and you're looking, you know, how high, the higher the score, the better, out of 100. So 72.55 was enough to get us into the lead, which was very surprising. Not what we were, you know, looking to be, you know, obviously we go in to compete, but like I said, I was really looking for the feedback. So the blue ribbon on top was just an extra bonus. It was really nice. I think Chase was like, blue is definitely my color, Mom. Like, keep me in the blue, please. So he was great. Super pleased with that day. He went back to the yard and went out into the paddock, was super pleased and happy munching on his grass. And so Saturday, because I was in the championship, we had dressage in the morning, early start, and then cross country. And so one of my coaches, Marsha Kulak, was there for the weekend. She was helping me. I love her. I'm gonna start working with her a lot more now. She was invaluable. I had talked on my story a little bit about how he can be a little bit rude, a little bit resistant, as he's trying to get me to almost kind of I don't know, comply to him. That's a word, I think, that makes sense to you guys. Get me to work harder than I need to. He knows the contact, and he likes to get a little bit more on the forehand than I would like. And so now we're just learning to keep that balance a bit more and maintaining the contact, even if it does bring a little inconsistency into the bridle. So, you know, that worked really well. I worked on that today even, and he's getting a lot better. I mean, he's a phenomenal student and teacher. He is just so willing to learn. So that's always great. And even though I got a higher score than I was looking for, the training was more correct, and therefore I found that was more valuable, so that if I'm putting my thinking cap on in the future, my scores should be lower, because he'll be more correct in his training. And that's honestly, personally, way more important to me. Okay, sorry guys about that. My mom needed some help, so always willing to help her. Anyway, so back to what I was talking to you about. So then moving on to the cross country, the warm-up had a little bit, at first they were saying they were running 40 minutes late, and I had turned up 20 minutes before what my original time was going to be, and then I was like, I don't need 40 minutes. And Marsha was great. She handled the situation really well. It's really good to learn from your coaches of how to handle this situation, going to the volunteers, making sure you're communicating as a rider. And eventually I actually got to go really close to my original time, so I was happy about that. The cross-country warm-up was great. He felt really good. We're doing basically figure eights off of, you know, the same 2 or 3 cross-country fences. He doesn't need to jump show jumping when you have cross-country fences there. You know, the job is cross-country, and I want my horses to be thinking about that. And as he gets a little bit older, for my warm-up, I normally, as well as doing this cross-country out of stride, a little bit of coughing canter, you know, and then do a fence on the angle, because he's only 4, you know, he could do it, but we didn't incorporate it this time. He got out on course. The first couple fences were really good. He started to get, though, what I thought was I was missing my distance, and he got a little bit closer to things than I was wanting, and I was like, what is this? And we had, to be honest, one really sketchy moment. It was this turn, and he jumped big into the first one, and I was like, okay, we'll just take put a little more bend, and then straighten out for our second. It was a left bend to our second element, and he popped that right shoulder out really dramatically, and I didn't have enough leg and had too much rein, and I got him. I looked up, and I wasn't even aligned with the fence. It was that bad. And he was a very good boy, because I managed somehow to put him on that fence at this weird little angle, and he kind of stopped, and I was like, oh crap, I'm gonna have like another 20 penalties, or not another, I didn't have any up to that point. I was gonna have 20 penalties, and I don't get 20 penalties very often. I try and stick to my gut and try and ride from the seat of my pants. If I need to get the job done, it gets done. Like, I don't like my horses having 20 penalties on their record. As long as it's safe, I always try and kick them on. And this is beginner novice, you know, horses can jump up to like 3-3 out of a walk, you know. And I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna kick him out of it, kick him over it, like, and see what he does. He is such a genuine horse. He was like, I have no idea what you want, but I'm gonna try and jump this thing. There are some cracking photos. If you go to Connecticut Photos and look me up, I was number 69. You guys feel free, because like, I'm hoping to order one of those pictures, but it shows that cross country is not perfect. And if somebody thinks it is, like, I'm sorry, that's not eventing. You have to ride from the seat of your pants. And so I got it wrong, but I was very proud of him, and, you know, proud of myself how I managed it, that I decided to just stick with my gut and kick him on. And the rest of the course was pretty good. You know, there are some really good parts, and there were some parts that, obviously, like that one, that need work, you know. And you know, finished double clear, was a very good boy. And then